Welcome to another episode of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news, folks. It's our job to give you the most issues, bits, and world of sports, entertainment, odd news, and whatever else we happen to stumble across in this hour-long podcast. I'm Rich Liebeg.
And I'm Michael Costanzo.
And we are here to give you all those news topics in sports, entertainment, and odd news. And we do have plenty to review. We weren't on last week. We were both traveling. We were both out and about.
Yep.
We were all over the place. I was on a work trip.
Yeah.
I went from Phoenixville to Phoenix.
Yeah, you went all the way out down to the Southwest.
Yeah. So I had some fun in the sun.
You got to play golf, right?
Yeah, I got to play a round of golf. Yeah. That was a nice little adventure out there, and had some tasty tacos and some some other things I got into. But yeah, it was all good. But you actually went on a little vacation. You actually enjoyed your travel.
Yeah, no, there was no work during my travels. I went to London. Very fortunate, very blessed to be able to go back to London. And we had a blast. I think one of my favorite things that I experienced there this time was I found a bar called Passyunk Avenue.
Yes, I've heard of this bar through Preston and Steve.
I didn't know it was a thing. I was just looking for places to eat. I just go to Google Maps. And I just look at all the different restaurant things that pop up. And I just tap on each one and just see what it's about. And I see Passyunk Avenue pop up. And I go, that's a weird name for a bar. I'm like, that can't be
in London.
Like the South Philly Passyunk Avenue, right?
There's no Sir Passyunk in history, is there?
Right, exactly. So I tap on it, and sure enough, it's a
Lord Passyunk.
It's Lord Passyunk's bar. No, it's a Philly themed bar there in London. And when I say Philly themed, I mean the entire thing is dedicated to Philadelphia sports. I'm talking like several feet tall stained glass windows of Nick Foles holding the Lombardi Trophy, of Dr. J. I'm talking about a wall-sized mural of Nick Foles' face in that like Barack Obama like pop art style.
Yes.
You know, they had Jason Kelsey's Mummers outfit in the corner. The Wi-Fi name was Super Bowl 52, and the password was Nick Foles MVP.
Yep.
Like, I mean, everything about it from top to bottom was they had, I mean, just everything about it. And the menu, though, is what really caught my eye and why I decided to go there. Because they said that they had a cheesesteak. I'm like, a cheesesteak in London, but it wasn't advertised as a Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah, so this followed your rules.
Right, or a Philly steak sandwich, or a steak sandwich, or a steak and cheese, or anything like that. It was just cheesesteak. Right?
Yep, so this follows your rules.
Right, and the menu said homemade long Italian roll, beef, onions, and your choice of 3 types of cheese, either provolone, American, or whiz.
Yes.
House-made whiz.
Are they allowed to serve whiz out there?
I don't like in Europe.
Europe is all healthier.
They're very. They
don't like to eat plastic.
They're also right, and they're also very particular about their cheese. They take their cheese very seriously.
Yeah.
Here we're like, just melt some plastic and call it cheese. We're good.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh no, it has to be like real food. Oh,
it has to be dairy in it.
So it was house-made whiz made from like a cheddar blend. So they use like actual cheese. But I got the cheesesteak, and I'll say this: the cheese was nice and gooey and melted throughout. The roll was nice and soft. The onions were perfect. The meat, they still cannot get the meat right. Like everywhere I go, that's not this like 5-county region. The meat is just not the same. And it's not that it was like bad meat. It was just, it had
not what you're looking for.
No, it wasn't what I was looking for. Instead of being like shaved or like chopped up.
Should be shaved ribeye.
Right. And it was more.
That's how you get the perfect cheesesteak.
It was more like not ground beef, but kind of like granulated a little bit. And in London, just in the UK in general, they have an obsession with, serving beef with like some kind of like sauce or gravy. They're really into gravies there. Like if you get a meat pie, it always has like a beer, like the meat has been braised in beer or braised in something, red wine reduction, some kind of glaze or sauce or gravy. And I'm not saying that the cheesesteak had that gravy on it, but it tasted like the meat had been braised in some kind of like beer gravy. Like it had like a stew-like taste to the meat.
Yeah, I usually don't have that on cheesesteak.
No, it's just street ribeye. It's just
Yeah.
there's no you're not braising it, you're not cooking it, you're just slapping it on the grill, chopping it up, and you're done with it.
Yeah.
It felt like they added something else to it. All in all,
I mean, you are in London, so
yeah, but I like to do that sometimes. When I go to a place, I like to see their spin on something that I know from back home to see just how close it is. The cheesesteak was like a 6.5, but still better than the ones in the Link. The ones in the Link are just awful. Just god-awful. Have you ever had one from the Link?
No.
They're disgusting.
no.
They're awful.
I usually try and hit up, a spot before I get to the Link.
I'm a savage. I'm just like, I'm going to pay $20 for
Or after.
terrible.
Or after the Link.
Yeah.
Because, man, sometimes there's nothing like a nice cheesesteak at like 1 in the morning.
You know
Yeah,
what's really
oh,
sad?
man.
You know what's really sad?
I kind of want to go get one now.
I know.
We're
same.
recording late at night, so yeah, this is a good time.
No, same, because that cheesesteak was the first cheesesteak I'd had in months. So I need to go get a proper cheesesteak now.
All right, you know what? Let's just cancel the podcast.
Show's over. Let's
Yeah, that's it. We got to go get a cheesesteak now. We're going to drive into Philly. Sorry,
Yeah.
bye, everyone. This is the end of the show.
It was a short one. But no, the cheesesteak was 6.5, but the atmosphere and the people, 10 out of 10. I met somebody from Plymouth Meeting there in
It
London.
only took you to go to London
It
to
only
meet
took me
someone
to
in
meet
Plymouth
someone
Meeting.
from Plymouth Meeting. Yeah, exactly. I got to go Birds. We got an Eagles chant going. I mean, the place was packed, wall to wall, floor to ceiling. And you'll like this fact. The Chiefs-Jags game was on at the time.
Yeah.
And who do you think people would be cheering for? The Chiefs are amazing. Everybody loves the Chiefs.
No.
The whole bar
They
was
love the
Jags
Jags.
fan. Do you want to know why?
Because the London games are usually the Jaguars.
Yep,
Yeah.
because they send the worst NFL teams to play in London. And so there were so many Jags fans. And I'm like, what is happening? Why are there so many
But it
Jags
also
fans?
it also
But it
makes sense.
It does, yeah. That's
But-
the team they get to see every year.
But between that and also Doug Peterson, it's not like all because of Andy Reid. You also have Doug Peterson. He's coaching Jaguars. That's
Yeah.
a previous Eagles coach.
yeah.
That makes sense.
So yeah, it was really fun to see all the Jags fans watching the game, but also so many Eagles fans as well.
Yeah.
And I wanted to stay to watch the Giants game, but in London time, I think it was on at like 2 a.m. And I'm like, I can't stay up until 5 a.m. to watch the game and then go sightseeing the next day. I would have been miserable.
Boo.
But I knew they were going to win anyway. Not
Yeah.
like this naysayer over here.
I just said they had to be careful.
Okay.
If you remember the last episode we did, I
it
just
was
said
a
they had to
while.
be
It was like a
careful.
lifetime ago because a lot
Boy,
has
it
happened.
was. Yes, that is correct. Because now we stand post playoffs,
Yeah.
and we know who's in the Super Bowl now.
Yeah.
This is crazy. So, how about we officially launch into the first part of the show with the sports sampler?
So you're not good at sports. It's a very small part of life.
Sports. In your face. Ha ha!
Sports coming at you in your face. You want to knock out the AFC first?
Let's just get it over and done with. The Kansas City Chiefs
Yes, Andy Reid, Big Red.
back at the big dance. They just scraped by the Cincinnati Bengals 23-20. A lot of conversation about some plays at the end. Was it the reffing? Was it lopsided? Yada, yada, yada. Maybe. I don't like to attribute a loss just to, a few bad calls.
No.
But
But the hit on Mahomes at the end of the game, I'm sorry, that was legit.
that's going to be called 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this before the show because a lot of people are bringing up, the late hit on Burrow was missed. So how can they call the late hit on Mahomes? And I agree that there should have been a call on Burrow. They're absolutely right.
Mhm.
The difference is that, unfortunately, on the field of play, those late hits sometimes get missed. It's just the way that it is, right?
Yeah.
Like they're probably overly cautious with the quarterbacks now. Probably should have called it. They missed it. That was definitely an error on the ref's part. The one on Mahomes, though, was out of bounds. They're going to call that 10 out of 10 times because while on the field a lot of things are going on, people may miss things. When a quarterback is running out of bounds, it's really hard to miss that
Yeah.
because everybody's watching that.
Yeah.
And it's
And-
very easy to see that line of demarcation.
Yeah. Right.
So
the moment you cross that that out of bounds line, you have to pull back.
It's just 10 out of 10 times it's going to be called.
Yeah.
And it's not and it's not fair that the Burrow hit was missed and that one was called, but you can't undo it. You can't take it back. So
but unfortunately that call just sealed their fate because
killed them.
that moved them all the way up into field goal range, and then
That's it.
they just kind of I think they ran like one more play to get like their right side of the field for the kicker, and then that was an easy shot for them.
It's a shame, man. 2 years in a row. I mean, the Bills not getting a chance in the playoffs to come back last year, and then this year the penalty that basically thrust Kansas City into field goal range. Kansas City's just like scraping by in these championship games to make it to the Super Bowl, but they keep finding their way back.
Yeah. And for me, this is I think this kind of shows you the legacy of this like weird triumvirate between Mahomes, Burrow, and Josh Allen. I feel like they're going to be in like this weird 3-way constant loop.
We're officially in like the next generation of all-star quarterbacks because Brady he's
old.
For all intents and purposes, he's done. Rogers
No, he's not done.
He's old.
No. Yeah, no. You got to use different words here cuz Brady is still going to try and play. I don't think he's going to retire.
Okay.
I think he's still going to try and play. He might go over to the 49ers or something. I don't know. He might try something.
He may have to retire there because they have a bad history of quarterback
I don't know.
injuries.
They might try something with them. I don't know. Brady is going to come back. I can almost guarantee that. He does not want his career to end on this note.
Okay. I mean, even still.
But as you say, there is like a new era of elite quarterbacks now.
Yeah. And those three in the AFC, that's almost like the new Brady versus Manning versus, I don't know.
Big Ben.
Yeah. Whatever other AFC quarterback equivalent you want to use. But those three, they're going to be there for a while at the top.
Yeah.
Constantly trading places in the championship game.
Right. Because it was already something that the last 6 AFC championship games have all featured either the Chiefs or the Jaguars or something. It was some weird stat like that.
Yeah.
So interesting. I feel like the AFC is more like legacy. Like it's like more of like a stay.
There's like a holy trinity of teams that are always there, whereas the NFC
every year
it could
is
be
like crazy.
any team any year. Like was the Rams? What was it last year? 2 years ago, randomly, and now they're like trash. And
it's the worst Super Bowl defense ever.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the worst Super Bowl title defense ever.
Yikes.
Go from Super Bowl champion and then
to like nothing.
Bottom 5 in the league. I think they finished with the 4th worst record. Yeah.
That's what happens when you sell out.
Yeah, I mean
they're going to stay there for a while now.
Yeah, and so I think wouldn't you be in support of this?
What, to sell out for a Super Bowl?
Yeah, because aren't you the
sure,
one?
Why not?
Yeah, you've always said like I want teams to be. You're always like.
What did I say?
Extreme. I don't know. You always are like.
I always want them to be extreme.
Yeah, because you always said 8-8 is like the worst thing you can be.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so right, I don't want teams to be average. Average is the worst thing you can be in the NFL because you're just good enough to be like, well, we just need a piece or two, but you're not really bad enough to rebuild either. So you're kind of just stuck at like this plateau level.
Right.
If you're really good, you have a chance. If you're really bad, you can rebuild quickly.
So the Rams should be everything in your arsenal. The Rams with Jeff Fisher were constantly 8-8, 8-8, 8-8, 8-8.
And they were awful.
Right. And then
Sean
McVay, they shot up and pushed their chips all in, won the Super Bowl last year.
And
now they're at the peak.
So
now they're at the basement.
So here's the catch, though.
Shouldn't that be like your best team ever now?
That is how the process works. But here's the catch: when you're in the basement, you got to stay in the basement for a few years. You got to live. You got to be a basement dweller. You got to be a sewer rat. You got to scrape by. You got to be like the third Nares in Les Mis. You're cheating and scraping by. You got to do what you can to recoup those draft picks that you sold the farm to get to get that championship. Now you gotta let other teams poach your players. You got to get rid of the Jalen Ramseys and the wide receivers and the quarterbacks and everybody. Collect those picks, rebuild, blow it up, start over.
Yeah. So,
That's what I
in
say.
conclusion, do you like? I'm trying to get. Do you like the Rams then?
I don't know. Sure, why not?
Okay, there you go. Well, speaking of the NFC, then let's get to the NFC Championship. Then,
This is the only thing I care about.
yeah,
right now.
this is the big one because man, the Eagles have done it. They are in the Super Bowl.
What does this guy think he's an Indian?
Like such as?
Yes, the Philadelphia Eagles have punched their ticket. They are going to the Super Bowl the second time in 5 years.
Man.
I never thought this was going to ever happen like this.
I did.
Like, good for you. But no, years after being disappointed, as a Philadelphia fan, I'm just not used to things going right.
It's weird. It's going into that game against San Fran. Going into the game, I was worried, but at the same time, I was worried because I knew that the Eagles could do it. Like I knew that we would win that game. I was just worried that I just had like this weird like I don't know what the word I'm looking for. It felt very much like 2017 again. Like I knew that we could win it. We just had to have a few things break our way, and that we'd be sailing to the Super Bowl.
Well, a few things did break our way because they didn't break the 49ers' way.
Or rather, they did, but not the way that they wanted them to.
No, man, look, props to the 49ers. They did what they could, but, man, you can't go anywhere when 4 quarterbacks get injured the entire season.
And I got to say this. Everybody, it's very frustrating to see the discourse and people like, oh, if we had Brock Purdy, if we had Brock Purdy, if we had Brock Purdy. He was a third-string quarterback. He was
last pick of the
he
NFL
was a
draft.
Game manager. And let me ask you this. Was Brock Purdy playing on that defensive line next to Nick Bosa, stopping us from scoring 31? Shut up.
Yeah,
That's
take
all
it
I'm
to
going to
him.
say. Shut up. Like, Brock Purdy, and I get it. If your offense is working, then the defense doesn't have to work so hard. But they're supposed to be number one. These are the arguments I heard before the game. Number one defense. The Eagles aren't going to go anywhere. Brock Purdy, you could put, Kyle Shanahan is such an offensive genius. You could put any quarterback in there and succeed. Really?
Yeah, so much for that, yeah.
We have so many weapons. The Eagles' defense won't be able to cover all of them. 7 points. If Kyle Shanahan is such a genius, block Hassan Reddick maybe once or twice.
All right.
Get out of here. No. The 49ers were undisciplined.
They were in that game.
They
that
were,
was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing.
The last quarter of that game, they were throwing their frustrations out on the field. I didn't like that.
They were children.
Yeah.
They were undisciplined. They were sloppy. They were unprofessional, unsportsmanlike. That is not a championship team. I don't care what the score was. They did not deserve to be there. They proved to me in the last 2 quarters of that game.
Didn't I make a point? I think it was a couple years ago. Kyle Shanahan, I don't understand. I don't understand why he gets like the air of being like a top 5 head coach.
He is a punk, man.
He was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons when they choked that Super Bowl to the Patriots 28-3. They choked in the game against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. They were up in that game. Jimmy Garoppolo just needed a sustained drive, and I don't know if the Chiefs come back in that fourth quarter of that Super Bowl. The NFC Championship game last year against the Rams, they were up, and the Rams came back and won that game. I don't know why he gets like constantly lauded as like a top 5 head coach. I don't think he's there.
It's the name.
Yeah.
Honestly,
that could be.
You gave the example of Jeff Fisher. Jeff Fisher's career coaching record is like
even 500.
Perfectly 500.
Yeah.
Some people just exist on name alone, and I think Kyle Shanahan is one of those people. He's just living off of the nepotism and the brand name. You know, because I don't see it. I didn't see the geniusness. They said anybody could play quarterback in this system. That's how good it is. They said that you could, with all the weapons, you don't even really need a quarterback. You can have Mr. Irrelevant quarterback and win the game. I didn't see it.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't let CMC be quarterback.
Yeah, why not
Because
run
he's had
for a genius? Why not go Wildcat?
he's had passing touchdowns in the past.
Yeah, I mean you could go Wildcat.
I would have. That's what I would have done, to be honest with you. If you're getting that desperate, where your fourth string quarterback gets concussed,
It was just so pathetic for being an offensive genius. They come out there after the injuries and they're like, "Well, we're down by 20 points. Let's just dive up the middle, dive up the middle,
yeah,
dive up the middle, run." Like
Yeah.
I get that your quarterback can't throw, and that sucks. But like any sort of creativity would have helped at that point.
Yeah. So all right, let's not keep kicking
I
the
like it.
Sixers.
The Sixers.
I mean the 49ers.
The
Wrong
49ers.
wrong,
you know
wrong
what?
number.
While we're at it, let's kick the Sixers
No,
as well. I don't
no.
know what they're doing,
Wrong
but they
no.
suck. No.
Well, the reason why the reason why 6 came out up to my mouth, which is appropriate, because the 49ers have multiple options going into this offseason, and I really don't remember a team going into an offseason with literally 6 options. There's literally 6 things they can do at the quarterback position. It is ridiculous. There's so many different avenues
Yeah.
the 49ers could go in. First off, Trey Lance. Anybody remember Trey Lance? He was the guy that they originally drafted to take over.
Right.
He'll be coming back. Jimmy Garoppolo was the veteran that they trusted, but then he got hurt. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent. What do you do with that? Brock Purdy, don't know.
Now you
When
got to keep him. He's the new hotness.
Yeah,
You
is he the
can't
new
get rid
hot?
of him.
Yeah. Do you even have any room for Josh Johnson at this point? I don't know. Like I prefaced a little bit earlier, there's a rumor that Tom Brady wants to come to the 49ers.
Yep.
He's looking to get out of Dodge and Tampa Bay. He's apparently that team's about to go down the sinkhole. Or is it another quarterback? Literally, there's other quarterbacks going to be available this offseason. Derek Carr, Baker Mayfield. There's going to be a big
draft
list.
another one.
Oh my God! Or do you draft another? That's another option. You could draft another one.
Just trade up and draft.
So literally, there's a breadth of options. Where do you even begin if you're if you're John Lynch? Like I have no idea. This is a muddled
Quit
mess.
and join a team that has direction.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where this hatred for the 49ers has come from, but I'm really annoyed at them and their fan base right now. So it's just a disaster. I've never seen a team more rudderless in terms of quarterback other than the Eagles. But you shouldn't use us as a metric for how to handle quarterback controversy.
Yeah.
It's terrible. You got to at some point make a clean break and say, you know what? We're gonna approach this as a fresh start. You can't carry all these quarterbacks and
But what's the fresh start?
the fresh start is whoever they want it to be.
Well, I'm asking you, what would you do?
What would I do?
Damn you, Mike. Yeah, I'm asking your.
Well, here's the long and short of it. They don't trust Trey Lance.
Yeah.
If they trusted him, he would have started at some point. When
He was going to
drafted?
start the beginning of the season. The beginning of the season, they wanted it to be.
When was he drafted?
Trey Lance?
Yeah,
Last year.
last
Or
year.
2 years ago. He's been on the bench for a whole year.
Okay, so they don't trust him.
Well, just 1 year.
No.
At the beginning of this season,
Quarterbacks you draft
No.
quarterbacks you draft that high, maybe back in the early 2000s they sat, now they play immediately.
But at the beginning of this season, he was the number 1 quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo was the backup.
Okay.
So
All right.
that doesn't indicate that they were going to run that they trust him. They were going to run with him.
Maybe. I mean, I guess. Well, then go with Trey Lance. That's the answer.
I'm just asking you what you would do.
That's the answer. If you think that they trusted him that much, then it should be Trey Lance, and they should let Jimmy Garoppolo walk, and they re-sign Purdy to be a backup. I mean, Purdy stays no matter what happens.
Yeah, I think the public is in love with him.
I think that's clear. He can be a solid backup for the 49ers. They have to make a decision between Jimmy G and Trey Lance. They don't want Jimmy G. They never wanted Jimmy G. They had moved on from Jimmy G. They just can't officially break up with him.
Well,
just rip the Band-Aid off.
I think they probably will this season because he'll be an unrestricted free agent.
They're not going to go out and re-sign him.
Yeah.
Because he's going to command too much money when they already have a packed quarterback room.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it sucks, and it really sucks for the 49ers because they have no idea what they have with Trey Lance. They didn't get to see him at all.
No. So it's a very interesting offseason coming up for the 49ers.
We could see the 49ers go from like a championship type team to being absolute trash next year.
Depends on how the rest of their roster.
Do you really trust that Christian McCaffrey is going to stay healthy?
So
do you really trust
that's
that
a risk?
The quarterback will stay healthy?
That's a risk. Yeah, but their defense is pretty stacked.
Yeah, but every year, players get a little bit older, a little bit slower. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I think that'll happen over the course. I don't think it'll be as instant as 1 year.
If the quarterback position doesn't work out, it could be.
All right. Well, there you go. There's just it's going to be a very interesting offseason for the 49ers, and I've never seen a breadth of options that they can go with. It is literally ridiculous. Anybody could be a quarterback for the 49ers come this offseason. It's going to be crazy. But nevertheless, Eagles won the Super Bowl. Eagles are heading back to the Super Bowl. It is going to be Chiefs versus Eagles. Andy Reid taking on his former team that he was head coach of. Had
brother
so much success
versus
with.
brother as well. The Kelsey brothers. There's so many storylines.
Yeah, there's so many storylines going into this. The Kelsey Bowl. Man, I'm just looking forward to it. I think this is going to be a great game. Two high-flying offenses. It should be a very entertaining game.
It should be, yeah. And I'm realizing now I always forget there's a Pro Bowl in between now. Because I was like...
that's the official motto of the Pro Bowl.
I'm already skipping ahead of week because I'm looking at the rundown. I'm like, there's still another week here. But yeah, it should be a very exciting game. The thing that I'm the most excited about is that I truly believe that this Eagles team is better than the 2017 team.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, I do. The defense is better. We have more weapons on offense. And we have a dual threat quarterback, which we didn't have in 2017.
No.
The offensive line is also a little bit more solid. We have,
well,
knock on wood, we have almost no injuries.
Yeah, this is the most healthiest an Eagles playoff team has been.
Yep. Yeah.
This is something we're definitely not used to. Usually we're banged up going into playoff games.
The only thing that we don't have going into this Super Bowl is a bruising running back, and I don't think we need one because we have a four-headed monster at running back.
We got Boston Scott. we got the giant killer.
We have here we go. We got Miles Sanders who can run on first and second. We've got Kenneth Gainwell who can catch out of the backfield. Boston Scott, who's a good change of pace guy. And then, of course, you have Jalen Hurts, who's a risk on every single play. So I think that's more of a threat than having washed up LeGarrette Blount and a Jay Ajayi that came out of like semi-retirement to all of a sudden be good again. You know? I think, what? I'm serious. I mean, really look at that running back by committee. You're telling me that was like a star-studded cast? No, it was a bunch of hobbled together, like semi-retired
LeGarrette
Blount,
guys. Though, he was a nice bruiser, though.
He was a nice bruiser.
He may only have gotten 3 or 4 yards, but he wore defenses down. He was a tough guy to bring down.
He did. It was part of our success, and we don't have that going into this Super Bowl, but I think that what we're replacing it with is just as dangerous, just in a different way.
Yeah, because you know why? The strength is really on the offensive line.
This offensive line is just playing out of this world.
Nick Sirianni and
is his name Steichen or something like that?
Yeah, they've been crafting amazing ways to pull linemen out and create running lanes. It's been a real work of art. That if you get a chance to rewatch some plays, just watch how they run the ball and move either Kelsey out of the lane or move Johnson out of the lane. Like they just create these wide gaps naturally when they pull these guys from one side of the field to the other.
A lot of it is Jason Kelsey and why he's going to be a Hall of Famer one day. I've been watching a lot of analysis videos on just some of the blocking schemes and the way that they pull him across the formation. I mean, not only is he snapping the ball, then he's like sprinting out there to lead block.
Yeah.
I mean, no center can do what Jason Kelsey does.
No.
It's just incredible.
He's.
I think you got Mailata and Johnson on the ends just dominating. I mean,
Yeah.
Lane Johnson's playing with an injury. Shut down Boza.
Yeah.
Like, again, everybody's like, oh, the Niners would have won. The Niners would have won. Lane Johnson he tore something in his upper body. I mean, that's like you're using your arms all game. Shut down shut down Boza.
Yeah. And hasn't given up a sack.
Yeah. And Jordan Mailata just exerts his will on, I mean, he could crush like a boulder in between his hands. The man's a monster.
Yeah.
So,
Well, hey, this is why we've always said it on the show. Offensive line is very important.
Yeah.
You got to build from the line and move out.
and the Eagles right now have two of the most dangerous lines in all of football.
That's
on
right.
Offense and defense.
That's right. We'll make our Super Bowl pick next week because that'll be that'll be the episode right before the big game. Before we leave the Sports Sampler, though, we have some bit of breaking news happening today, and that is a rare head coaching trade happening. That is because Sean Payton initially was going to retire as a coach. He announced his retirement last year from the Saints. But apparently after a year away from the game, he decided, no, he still wants to come back and be a part of the NFL, and decided to interview for the Broncos' vacant head coaching job and got the job. But he's under contract with the Saints as of right now. So the Broncos had to offer some compensation in order to get Sean Payton to go to Denver. And what is the compensation? First-round pick?
Yeah, so Denver's offering their 2023 first-round pick and next year's second-round pick for Sean Payton and the Saints' 2024 third-round pick. 2024 third-round pick. So, yeah.
A rare head coaching trade.
That doesn't happen often. I thought it happened far less frequently than it actually does. It's happened a couple times in our lifetime, but it happens rarely. But the thing that catches my eye with this one is Denver. I don't know where they're finding all this draft capital just trade away. First for Wilson, now for Payton.
Yep.
They're trying to. Do they really think they're that close? Here's the thing that I don't understand. Trading for a coach is a reset button type move.
Usually.
Because usually when you bring in a new coach,
you have to bring his entire unit. And
it's an entire staff. If it's a new scheme, it's a new playbook. They want to draft their own guys, but with what picks? Like, you are a Super Bowl winning coach. You come into the new team, and he's like, "All right, I'm ready to build my team. Who do we got on our big draft board?" And the Broncos go, "Yeah, about that. We have no picks."
Yeah, we don't have any first and second round picks.
So how's Payton going to build the team that he wants to build? It's a big reset button move.
I would have to imagine that during the interview process they address that. Like, do you really like the roster we have set up here? And if you don't, which players do you not like? And which
do you think the Broncos are that smart?
Okay, maybe not, because they did run with Nathaniel Hackett last year, and that was a mess. So I don't know. I would have to imagine they addressed that in the interview process. Like,
I would imagine Sean Payton would probably bring that up, and the Broncos are like, "Oh, we didn't even think of that." But somebody brought it up. I think Payton thinks that he can win with Wilson. I think the Broncos think they're delusional in thinking that they have a shot. I mean, they were awful. Russell
Wilson took a big regression step back.
I think
that was he does not look like a top tier quarterback.
From what I've read online from armchair quarterbacks in online forums and stuff, is that Russell Wilson had issues in Seattle that were just disguised by the rest of the pieces around him in Seattle. He always had some dump off route to some shifty slot receiver.
Yeah, you mentioned this a couple of weeks ago.
Right, and Denver doesn't have somebody like that. They have two outside receivers, and Russell Wilson didn't have that safety valve. Again, the Seahawks always had phenomenal defenses that could get the ball back immediately and give Wilson another shot. And Denver doesn't, have the same defense that Seattle does. So we might be facing a situation where we're realizing Wilson may be past his prime and we just didn't realize it.
Yeah, because it definitely looked like
he barely threw more
regressed.
touchdowns than his house has bathrooms. That was my favorite stat of this past season. He threw like 14 touchdowns. His house has 12 bathrooms.
He
You should be
just
able to throw
crossed-
more touchdowns than your house has bathrooms.
Yes, you need to poop more. You can't be pooping more,
More than you're throwing
you're
TDs.
throwing touchdowns.
No.
Yeah, that's not good. That's
No.
not a good sign. Yes, the infamous poop TD ratio.
You got to be dropping the right kind of bombs. Is what I'm saying.
Yes. If there's a stat for you. Why don't they do that on Monday Night Football?
Yeah, right?
I want the poop TD stat ratio.
The poop to touchdown ratio. You have the
Yes.
touchdown to interception ratio. You need the touchdown to interception to poop ratio.
Yes. All right. Very
Well,
important.
Wilson failed that one.
He almost did. Because what? So he had 14
He had like
to 12.
I don't know. He
So
had
there
like,
you go. He almost failed it.
Let me see how many touchdowns he had. It's
Yeah.
like something stupidly low.
He has 12 bathrooms in his house in Denver.
He has 12 bathrooms in his house.
So yeah, that is lifestyles of the rich and famous. Like, what do? Do you actually like take a crap in every single one of them, and you're like, ha ha!
Yeah, yeah.
Look how wealthy I am. I can take a deuce over in this one. You can't smell it until you get to the other side of the house.
Okay, so I was wrong. It wasn't 14, it was 16. But
Okay.
again, he had
So he passed.
He had 12 bathrooms.
So he passed the TD poop ratio. Good.
But he only passed that in the last week of the season. He threw 3 touchdown passes and like barely squeaked by.
Very good. But he passed.
But he passed, yes.
Okay. Very good.
So I don't know. I don't know if Sean Payton is going to be the magic, I don't know, piece of the puzzle that solves everything. Because
Well-
to me, getting a new coach is admitting that you're hitting the reset button.
Well, trading for one is what you're trying to say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Typically, getting a new
Because
head
they
coach
had
in
to get
general.
they had to get a new head coach. They fired Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah, but usually when teams are in a position of firing or trading for head coaches, like a good team doesn't really do that. A team that's like on the precipice of succeeding doesn't really do that, right?
Yeah. Well, look, the Broncos have to do what they have to do because they don't have any other avenues here. Nathaniel Hackett was a dumpster fire of a head coach.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, with that in mind, that will officially wrap up the Sports Sampler. Next week, pure Super Bowl coverage.
Yep.
You're not going to want to miss that next week. I mean, literally, we're going to have predictions. We're going to have some analysis. And then, of course, my favorite prop bets. That's always a favorite segment.
Got to bet on that Gatorade.
That's right. So you'll find out all the odds next week for the big game. But for right now, we got to take a break because coming up next, we got the entertainment entree and the non-fortune cookie odd news coming your way. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. This is the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
Ready for the weekend? Happy Friday. Hi, my name's Marie, and I'm an artist who's been making Happy Friday doodles every week for over 7 years. And now you can own my art collection in this Volume 1 and Volume 2 art series. These doodles span across multiple themes, yearly festivities, various countries, languages, and more. Both coffee table books have something for everyone and are the perfect conversation starter or gift for a friend. Really, anyone who enjoys a good weekend. Available on Amazon, Ingram, BookBaby, Barnes & Noble, and more. Visit happyfridaydoodles.com/books and get your copies today. Let's celebrate the best day of the week. Happy Friday.
If you go to Taco Bell at 3 in the morning, this is what you're going to get. Yeah,
That clip is already coming into play.
yes,
I love it.
already. So there you go.
Stop.
What happened?
The thing went on.
Well, how did that turn on? That was
I don't
weird.
know. The fart sound.
The fart sound turned Amazon on?
I think the
What?
fart sound turned on my Echo.
What the
I
hell?
don't know. It turned on.
What are you doing, Jeff Bezos? What are you
Jeff
into?
Bezos, he's listening to fart sounds.
He's listening to our fart sounds. Oh my god!
I changed the trigger word to fart. I got to fart at it now. I don't know what happened.
That's really awkward. You're gonna have to. Excuse me.
Excuse me. How can I help you?
You may need some bowel.
Do you want me to automatically order you Pepto-Bismol? I don't know why. I don't know why I'm talking to it solely through farts now.
It actually, you fart into it.
Fart
and-
once for yes and twice for no.
No. Actually, you fart into the device, and then
Yeah.
Amazon can determine
Oh,
what
what you-
medicine you need.
Oh, right. Wow. That's next level right there. Or what you've been eating and what you want to reorder.
Oh.
I detect Cheetos. Would you like to subscribe?
Would you like a bulk order of Cheetos?
Ooh, yes, please.
Cheetos ordered.
Cheetos. That story took a turn.
Yeah.
Cheetos ordered.
Okay. All right. There you go. The latest from Jeff Bezos and Amazon.
It's amazing technology, I tell you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're back here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast, done the Sports Sampler. And let's just move right into it because we got a lot of topics to get to in the entertainment world. So let's launch right into it. Folks, it is time for the entertainment entree. If it'll load. Welcome back to everybody. The iPad is not waking up yet. There we go.
And now, the latest in movies.
The Simpson guy writes to movies. Dear Die Hard, you rock. Especially when that guy was on the roof.
Music.
I know what that is. That's music.
Video games.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
Celebrities.
You really know Warren Beatty?
Yes, I do. I took a leak next to him once at the Golden Globes.
And more.
You were the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world.
This is the entertainment entree.
Yeah, there you go, man. The iPad still thinks we're on our trips.
Yeah, man. Well, what's up with the iPad over
Yeah,
there?
I don't know. It still thinks
You
we're
could
away.
probably use a new one. You've had this one for quite some time, haven't
Yeah,
you?
but it still works. I
still
don't need
works.
another great iPad Fire to remove all my sound clips.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, because that was a
Don't do
pain
that.
in the ass when I lost all my sound clips.
Oof. We
The-
never really recovered from that. There's some
the great iPad Fire. I
great
love the way you called that. Yeah. So, no, I don't need another one of those. I'm good.
Okay.
But right now everything's fine. We're all fine here now.
It's all back up and running.
Yeah, we're all fine here now.
Hello. Play that one.
Oh, you want that one? That's out of all the ones?
Yeah. Because we're trying to wake up the iPad. There you go.
There you go. Waking up the iPad.
That's basically what you were doing to the iPad.
There you go. Love that clip. Twin Peaks. All right. Let's get to the segment where Mike is going to let you know what you keep an eye out for so that you stay awake and not asleep like my iPad with Mike's This Week in Entertainment. All right. What do you got for the people?
All right, this week in entertainment, we're starting with movies. Knock at the Cabin is a new film from M. Night Shyamalan. It's an apocalyptic psychological horror film written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan, starring Dave Bautista and Jonathan Groff. The premise is quite simple. A family vacationing in the woods are held hostage by a group demanding that they sacrifice one of their own in order to prevent the apocalypse. Dave Bautista appears to play the leader of this weird apocalypse cult group. But given that this is a Shyamalan film, there could be some twists and turns throughout. It looks pretty interesting, the trailer that I saw. There's no reviews out yet, which is a little concerning typically when you don't see reviews ahead of a movie release.
Yeah.
But still, if you're looking for something a little twisty-turny here in the dead of winter, go check out Knock at the Cabin, hitting theaters this week. If instead you'd rather stay in during the cold weather, check out Poker Face on Peacock. We weren't here last week, so I'll mention this now. It's already out, but it's a new crime procedural dramedy. But what makes this a unique procedural is that it's coming from Ryan Johnson and stars Natasha Lyonne from Russian Doll and
love her.
Orange is the New Black. She's fantastic. But each week, she travels the country and solves cases using her uncanny ability to detect if someone is lying. So it's just a standard procedural dramedy, but it's kind of like a Lie to Me.
Yeah,
a little
like
bit
a
in
funnier
Yeah.
Lie to Me.
Exactly.
Which I loved. I loved Tim Roth in that show.
Lie to Me was fantastic. I don't think it got the praise it deserved.
Yeah.
But Poker Face may be getting the praise it deserves. Has a 98% with an average rating of 8.6 out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes. So getting pretty good reviews so far. Go check it out. It's Poker Face on Peacock, streaming now. And that's what we're looking forward to this week in entertainment.
Oh, man. That always reminded me. So Lie to Me came out when we were in college.
Yeah.
And I don't know, me and my friends in the Commuters Lounge, we always did this thing with Lie to Me that was like, we could break down like every episode of Lie to Me because there was always a part in that episode where like Tim Roth does that squinty eye like, oh, wait a minute. I see that expression there on the side of your
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
And he always does this kind of
he always had that like motion where he tilts his head to the side, squints his eyes.
If you're not watching the video, you can't see it. It's like a sideways head cock. He squints his eyes and like kind of like points with like all of his fingers.
But your upper twitch on your left side of your lip says you're lying. Yeah, he always has like that bit to break the case.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a good show.
It was actually
a
good
good show.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, and I like Tim Roth. That show should have had a couple more seasons.
So, gosh darn it, go check out Poker Face on Peacock because it's basically
funnier
version of Lie to Me with Natasha Lyonne, and she's just amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
let's get to the news at hand. There was a massive DC news bulletin that hit the wire. Mike is already,
go ahead.
Mike is already having indigestion over this, apparently. You took Tums. You literally took Tums before this segment.
I literally took Tums. I was like, I need something. Because every time there's DC news, I get the agita, you know?
It's that bad for Mike.
Agita.
All right. Let's start off with the news.
Well, I gotta get your opinion on this because you're the DC guy here of the two of us.
Yeah, I have to be.
Unfortunately, that is your role. I can't do this. No, but this is pretty exciting news. They revealed their big slate of the DCU, the DC universe under James Gunn now. And they announced
the Gunn universe.
The Gunniverse. They announced 10 projects, film and TV. And this is the first part of a 2-chapter, 8 to 10 year storyline. So, what? You already hate it. You're like, oh, what's wrong with you? You already have indigestion, but you're over there. It's the same thing.
We'll see. Yeah, let's keep going.
Yeah, so it's 2 parts, 8 to 10 year storyline. So, they're trying to do an MCU kind of thing. The first part is referred to as Gods and Monsters. So they're going with their own phase titling, kind of like the MCU has. It officially starts with Superman Legacy, a new live-action film set for July 11th, 2025. So we're a couple years out. But some other key things to note here. Some stars of the previous films will be returning, such as Viola Davis is one of the ones named because her character is getting her own spin-off live-action show on HBO Max, Waller. And Gunn also said it's a possibility for other actors in the DCU as well, except for Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill. That is not what I wrote there.
He put Herbert Cavill. Herbie Hancock.
It's a Herbie.
There you go. Herbie Cavill.
Herbert.
Good old Herbie Cavill. Oh, that's lovely.
You know, you try so hard.
Herbie.
It's my. I write it on my phone. It's the thumbs.
Little Herbie.
Little Herbie Cavill. No, but what do you think about Herbert Cavill not being able to reprise his role as Superman?
Yeah, we've mentioned this before on a previous podcast. It's a shame that Henry Cavill doesn't have a franchise as of right now.
Yeah,
he's too good of an actor to not be linked with a franchise. Obviously,
it
lost.
seems like they're just like completely like they're shutting it down. They're like there's no way him and Affleck are coming back.
Yeah. I mean, I understand Ben Affleck. Like,
Right.
I think his shtick with Batman is getting old, so
Right.
I can understand that. But Henry Cavill, he's too good of an actor to not have a franchise. I mean, he lost out now with The Witcher.
Yeah.
He lost out now on Superman. Like, if I was his agent, call Broccoli, get him to be James Bond. He needs to be a part of a franchise. He's too good not to be.
Yeah, it is a shame that they, Ben Affleck, I never watched any of his Batman films, so he's not Batman to me. Not that I watched the Superman films, but a lot of fans really liked Henry Cavill as Superman.
Yeah.
So it's a shame that they won't get to see him back. But James Gunn basically is saying that a lot of the other actors and actresses can come back to reprise their roles in this new universe if it works out. So they're leaving the door open there, just not for those two. Of note as well, the Matt Reeves Batman films are still happening. And this is the Batman crime saga. And along with the Penguin TV show, this is not part of the DCU. So this is
not the Gunniverse.
Right, this is not the Gunniverse. And this is my problem
This is the Reverse.
Right. But this is my whole problem with this entire announcement is that DC is still juggling multiple universes and not in a fun Marvel way.
So there's going to be two Batmen.
Under DC, but in separate
I will not
franchises.
bury another Batman, Master Bruce. I will not.
I'll bury two Batmen.
I have to bury two Batmen.
Actually, this works out because now he's got all the Batmen.
I will not do it, Mr. Wayne.
But what do you think about this constantly? Poor Alfred.
Oh God damn
What do you think about juggling all these different universes? I mean, you'd think that hopefully with James Gunn it would be a clean break and they'd start over, but it seems like there's still like these holdovers from the previous administration, if you will.
Yeah,
Like, does this just complicate it unnecessarily, or do you like the fact that you have options?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this even complicates things further because they were trying to bring Henry Cavill back in, and at the end of the last movie with Black Adam, Henry Cavill has a cameo in it.
Yeah, they teased him. Yeah.
So what? That just gets left dangling. Like that's weird.
Basically.
And then if James Gunn is going to create a clean break in the DC universe, I know he, I guess for lack of a better term, needs Batman, but I almost kind of want him to not have Batman because Matt Reeves is doing his own thing with Batman.
Right. How can you have a trilogy with head up by Matt Reeves and then also have a Batman?
Batman is so good and so iconic. He can be on his own.
Right.
And like Matt Reeves showed us with The Batman, he has the chops to make fantastic movies in the Batman realm.
It could be like another Nolan trilogy if they let it be.
Yeah. Like just let him do his thing off on the side and don't So yeah, are we going to have another Batman in the James Gunniverse DC like
The short answer is yes.
It's going to get crazy.
The short answer is yes, because one of the 10 planned projects is a theatrical film, The Brave and the Bold, featuring Batman and also Batman's son, Damian Wayne, as Robin, who... they're really leaning into the dark, edgy stuff because apparently, I'm just reading the short write-up here. Damian Wayne was raised as an assassin.
Yeah.
Batman didn't know he had a son.
Yeah.
So
he gets raised by the Al Ghuls. God, like, this is the thing. Like, I have a lot of friends that are DC friends as well. They love DC. And a lot of them texted me very excited over that announcement that they're going down the Damian Wayne storyline, because it gets very dark and it goes more into the Ra's al Ghul stuff.
Okay. That could be very cool.
Right. It could be cool. And it is a great storyline and everything like that. But DC cannot juggle this many things right. Like, this is where you have to step back and like be like, you're a movie company. Is this the right way to market your heroes? Like, is this the right way to market the films that you want to come out? Do you trust DC?
Not at all.
I don't know.
Not at all.
I think, like, it is a great storyline, and it could be great, but just between they're juggling this many Batmen, which I can't believe that's a word I have to use in describing these, describing this news bulletin. I don't. It just seems desperate. I know James Gunn has the pedigree. I know he's got the track record. So a lot of people are just saying, in James Gunn we trust. But oh man, I don't know. I'm still very concerned with DC. It just always seems like they're playing catch up to Marvel. I would rather just at this point just do your own thing. Like, I love the Matt Reeves stuff. Let him go on his own and let him have fun with Batman. Let somebody else do, a Superman thing, whatever. But like, do we need to have an 8 to 10 year storyline to fight Marvel? It just feels like they're always fighting Marvel and catching up to Marvel.
Let me ask you this. Is it embarrassing that Marvel in 2 or 3 weeks is starting Phase 5?
Yeah, with
5
Ant-Man.
generations of a connected, cohesive, in quotes, universe.
They did a pretty good job.
And DC is just announcing their plans for their essentially Phase 1.
They tried to do one,
and it failed.
Yeah.
So is it embarrassing that Marvel has 5 successful phases of an interconnected universe, and DC is starting again from square one?
Yeah, from scratch. Yeah.
Like, don't you think it would have been more? I don't know. Like, if I were a fan, I would rather them, like you said, I would rather them say, you know what, our thing is not the universe stuff. Take a different tack to be like, we don't want to be like Marvel and make it confusing for fans and make fans feel like they're being, there's gatekeeping going on where you can't enjoy it unless you watch 27 other films. We want people to watch the films that they like, the way that they like, when they like, and create just fantastic individual stories. Like, just go completely different and unique, because it's not working.
DC needs to go back to basics.
It's embarrassing.
Like, at this point, go back to basics and just concentrate on one solid hero movie.
Right. Make one solid movie before you announce a 10-year plan.
Yeah. Because
like,
I can't trust you guys.
Prove that you can do it.
Like, I hope this Superman legacy is a home run and it kickstarts the DC hype train going forward. But just the track record that they have, I can't trust them.
I'm also a little concerned because one of their big hallmark movies is going to be Swamp Thing, which, is that a DC Swamp Thing? What is that?
It's Swamp Thing.
I'm really hoping maybe it turns out to be like, everybody when Guardians of the Galaxy was announced, like, Guardians of the what? Maybe it'll be like a shocker, but it just seems like they're just like lost a little bit. Because they got, in this first phase, they have Superman, Batman, Supergirl. They got like all these heavy hitters, and they got like Swamp Thing. It's like, what?
Again, we need to reiterate the golden rule that we have learned here on the podcast with DC. If they have their hand in it, it's going to suck. If they don't have their hand in it, it'll be great.
Yeah.
It literally pans out to everything that every DC movie that we have reviewed has fallen under that rule.
And it happens within the same franchise as well, because we saw it happen with Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, the first one, fantastic, because DC's like, a woman hero?
I don't know if that's going to work.
The first movie was stellar.
Yeah.
So good. And then they're like, oh, wait, people like women heroes.
Let's market the hell out of the second one.
1984 was rough.
Yeah.
So bad that the third one got canceled.
Yeah.
Like,
Is
yikes.
she out? That's another one, too.
The what?
Is Gal
Gal
Gadot
Gadot?
out?
That's the other thing is nobody knows. Like, they announced this whole thing, but again, they're like, well, people may
she
or may
was
not come
kinda-
back.
She
Yeah.
was kind of the third anchor between
Yeah.
Affleck, Cavill. Like, she was kind of the triangle there.
If the other two are out, you have to imagine she's out.
Yeah.
Because that would be awkward, where you bring back one of your, Holy Trinity Avengers Justice League team.
Yeah.
You know?
That
And then-
seems like she's kind of on her way out then, too.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, it makes sense for them to only keep secondary characters because it's easier for them to, like, kind of... Because, like, Viola Davis, she wasn't a lead
No.
in her movies.
No.
She was, like, a secondary character. So it makes sense for them to bring characters like that over because fans will either forget or they'll just be like, that makes sense. But it would be tougher to be like, oh, that's the guy, that's the Superman from the other Superman. Like, fans are not gonna... I feel like that would be hard for casual fans to wrap their heads around.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's hard for me to wrap my head around.
Yeah. Honestly, at this rate, I'm just going to look forward to Matt Reeves.
I still need to watch the Batman.
Mike, that one, it followed the DC rule.
Nobody cared about it or focused on it.
DC had no idea what they were exactly getting with that project. So they just let it be. They stayed out of it. And
every single time.
And it's one of the best Batman movies that came out.
Wow.
Like, it's eerie. We've stumbled on the golden rule. It works.
DC's like, it's different and scary. I don't get it. Just make it happen. And then it, like, is successful. And they're like, ooh, money. And they put their little hands in it and ruin it.
Yeah.
So, but maybe the second one's going to suck then.
Maybe. But right now, it's one of the best Batman movies out there.
So I definitely have to go see or watch The Batman. But as for this upcoming slate of films,
I'm still hesitant.
Yeah, I'm picking up some hesitance from you. And also, I will admit, it's a little odd for me as well. It just reads as desperate and confused.
They're still just trying to catch up to Marvel. But for those that are still loyal to the fan base, in James Gunn, we trust. So good luck. We'll see if it picks up the pace.
Hope for the best for you guys.
Yep. Something that you usually don't have to hope for the best, though, but you do have to expect for the worst sometimes, is the non-fortune cookie odd news.
We've been talking about cool and its ramifications and how it applies to the hip scene. But maybe you could give us some examples now of the opposite of cool, uncool. Just exactly what is uncool?
My nipples look like milk duds.
Holy shnikes.
It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
It's not of this world. I don't know exactly what it is or what it's doing, but this is not human intelligence, okay? It's not human intelligence we're facing!
How you doing? Me? I'm doing great.
Manda de bastata. I don't make this stuff up.
I'll take a pound of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts. That'll be $4, baby. You want fries with that?
I seen the celery dance across the baseball fields.
You had me at meat tornado.
No, go past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Okay. What does that mean?
And now it's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
So sit back, get everything you need to get from the kitchen. Be sure and empty the bladders, go to the bathroom, because you're in for a hell of a ride.
Woo, odd news.
That's right, everyone. It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news. Here in this segment, Rich researches the news, he reads the news, and I react to the news. He finds a weird and wacky story and keeps it hidden from me, which ensures that all of my reactions are my genuine gut reactions to hearing this story for the very first time. I don't know what's about to happen. You guys don't know what's about to happen. And even Rich doesn't know what's about to happen because these stories always take us down wacky and wild paths. And I'm ready to get started. Where are we heading to?
All right. To start off, we'll do this quick Florida story.
Now, who is this guy in Florida? It's Florida, and they're crazy.
It's true, they are.
Yep. And this is definitely just a weirdo.
Okay.
At best to describe this story. Police have arrested a member of the U.S. Coast Guard in Key West, Florida on Monday morning.
Oh, I've been to Key West. It's a nice place. They have chickens everywhere, like out in the streets.
Okay. Very good. What a report. Thank you for that information. Anyway, this story, we're following the case of Petty Officer 3rd Class Craig Hucker. That's his name.
I'm sorry. I don't know why. Hucker.
Craig Hucker.
I just feel like if there's like an extra vowel in there, it gets dangerous.
Yeah. You can definitely switch out that H for a couple of interesting names. Well, unfortunately, he has a girlfriend and was watching her daughter. They're around 13. Her daughter and her friends.
Okay.
They're around the ages of 13 and 14 years old. Stayed over for a sleepover. And according to police, the girls say that he began acting creepy.
Ew.
Yep.
Oh.
He said that, quote, do you guys know anything about furries?
Oh my God.
But boy, that's a way to start
Whoa.
off. Start off a sleepover night.
Yeah. Straight into the weird deep end.
Oh. Yeah, it's a little just right off the bat.
I thought it was just gonna be normal pervy stuff, but he went all the way to furry.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So right off the bat. Then said that one of the girls was wearing revealing clothes.
Okay.
And then said that when you wear such revealing clothing, you may get a nibble.
Ew.
There was a bit of a nastiness last night, yes? Some very extreme nastiness, yes? Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's so creepy. You may get a nibble.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It had to be nibble? Like, I don't know. Like, that added, like, another
It's
layer.
like an extra layer of creepiness.
Yeah. Like, come on. I don't know. Like, you are definitely choosing your words specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Later on in the night, the girls had a pillow fight, and Hooker came into the room and started to wrestle with them.
Oh, that's weird.
Including a soft bite on one of the girls.
Ew.
There was a bit of a nastiness last night, yes? Some very extreme nastiness, yes? Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yikes. No.
Don't
do that.
Right. And boy, just I don't know. What do you think? Do you think you're gonna get away with this? Like, why?
Here's the like they're 13 and 14. They're smart enough to know that like this is not okay.
Yeah, this
like,
is definitely weird.
You're not gonna get
and they can be trusted with eyewitness testimonial,
right? And also,
like this isn't a kid, like a kid, which is that's still creepy. But like,
right.
I don't know, it's just weird. The whole thing is weird.
It's super weird, and also with all of it's like a group of friends. Like they all have like
corroborating statements.
What do you think you're gonna do? You're gonna like weirdly seduce a whole group of like 5 13-year-olds? Like,
yeah,
ew.
you're gonna create like a little underage harem or something.
Oh God! And this person was a Coast Guard member.
Yeah.
Oh.
Boy, the girlfriend probably, or I guess the mother of the girls who was dating this guy probably thought he was a stand-up guy.
Yeah, probably like, oh, good stand-up guy in the Coast Guard, but he's just.
Yeah, he's
weirdo.
Talking about nibbling and wrestling.
Oh God, that's so creepy.
Yeah,
you're gonna get a nibble.
Yeah, that's just weird.
And then he did it.
Yeah,
he gave the nibble.
Yeah. And then obviously, these girls are, they know it's weird, so they each of the 3 girls told their parents, who all called the police.
There you go.
Hucker claims that this is all made up.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He is pleading not guilty and has said in the affidavit that, quote, I do not have an answer for why these girls would have the allegations made against me. But
I don't know.
I don't think that's going to fly, buddy.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. And it's also too specific, too.
Yeah.
Like, that's not really a story 13-year-olds would make up.
Yeah.
You
I don't
know?
know. It seems like something that
actually happened.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There was a bit of a nastiness last night, yes? Some very extreme nastiness, yes? Yes.
Yeah, so I don't think this...
Bad move, guy. Bad move.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to change his not guilty plea very soon.
Yeah.
He faces felony child abuse charges.
Yep, that makes sense.
And I guess he'll be out of the Coast Guard, too. You can't stay in with
absolutely
anything like that.
But on the bright side, he could get a nibble in prison.
Yeah, that's right. He likes nibbling, yeah. I'm sure you could find a nice
I'm just saying.
a nice nibble in the jail cell.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, you can find somewhere there.
Oh.
I'm sure there's people willing to nibble.
I guess you could say you had yourself a manwich. Yeah. Ooh.
There you go. Perfect way. Perfect way to enjoy your time in prison.
With a nibble.
If that's your thing, yep. All right, and I got another interesting odd news story here.
All right. Where's this one at?
This one going to North Dakota.
Okay, random.
Yeah, I don't think we've done too many North Dakota stories.
No, there's only like 7 people in the whole state, so it's hard to find odd news.
And one of them is Carson Wentz, and he left.
Damn, they're down to 6 people.
Whoops. Too bad. All right, so here we go. North Dakota, we're going to follow the case here of 35-year-old Brittany Reynolds.
Okay.
And boy, she created a scene because she promptly walked into St. Mary's Cathedral in Fargo, North Dakota, and started ripping things off of the wall.
Don't make me issue my ultimate force! No, I'm gonna f***ing kill you, motherfucker, old style! She's not a Christian!
No, she is not.
No, she might not be a Christian here.
Started ripping things off the wall. So
yes.
just like ripping down like what? Like the stuff?
Yes,
decorations?
the stuff.
I don't know what
Yes.
I just realized like
Exactly.
what's on the walls.
Stuff. Yes, very descriptive,
stuff, yes.
Mike. The stuff.
Yep.
Yep.
All the stuff.
Oh, by the way, too, I just always assume this part, too. She's naked. I just assume at this point, we're all kind of at the same baseline level.
It is true, though. In the odd news, I just assume there is a greater than 50% chance that the person is naked and probably some form of intoxicated.
Yeah, she's naked in this church, by the way.
Take your damn clothes off.
Yeah, she's ready to go. Yes, she's like just throwing things off of shelves, pamphlets, candles, everything
just
like
causing a general ruckus.
Well, yes. Eyewitnesses said she had no shirt or bra or pants on.
Okay.
No shoes.
In other words, naked.
Yeah, just full.
I don't know why they're like, she had no shirt, she had no pants, she had no shoes, she had no socks, she had no bra, she had no underwear, she had no hair ties.
It is actually listed like that.
Why?
I guess in North Dakota, they don't have much to do.
Well, I guess
this is the most excitement North Dakota has had.
Like, oh boy!
So let's list specifically every single thing she doesn't have on.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess though, in their defense, somebody could be like partially naked. They could have everything. They could have like just underwear on, everything else is off, or maybe they like just have like a pair of socks. Maybe they just want to, make sure everybody has a clear image.
Right. We're trying to make sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's just tossing everything, pamphlets, just everything here. There you go, exactly like that.
Right through the stained glass.
Yep. And then at which point they could not stop her getting to the center of the altar where she kicked over potted plants
God.
Then jumping up and ripping down the statue of Jesus off of the main wall.
No, I'm gonna f***ing kill you, motherfucker, old style.
Oh, no.
She's not a Christian!
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Oh, no. That's bad.
She is full blown.
She's done.
Yeah.
She's going straight to hell.
Yeah. By the way,
He just jumps up and rips Jesus down off the cross.
but first off, she must have game because they're usually hung up pretty high.
They're usually like, yeah.
I mean, unless in North Dakota they don't hang them high. Like, I don't know. Maybe
in
North
Dakota, in North Dakota, Jesus is really down to earth.
Yeah, he's one with the people. We
He's
don't
one with the
put him
people,
up in the sky.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we want him to stay local with us. That's why it's a God-fearing land. He's right there.
That's right. He's right there.
Yeah.
He walks amongst them.
Yeah. He's right there making sure you're doing everything right.
I like to believe that this lady is so jacked up on whatever she's got coursing through her veins that she just leaps 10 feet into the air and tears down this like massive cross.
Yeah.
Because like you're right, most churches they have like
they're high up.
They have enormous. They're huge.
They're huge. Yeah.
They're enormous.
So like you really have
they're
to.
They're like 12 feet in the air. They're like in the air.
Yeah. Like you need a ladder. Like how did she? She must have jumped up on the altar and then jumped off of the altar.
She scrambled up that thing like some kind of like roided up monkey or something.
Yeah. Like, I don't think, like, that sentence has a lot of weight to it. Like, she had to do some serious acrobatic jumping to get
I like to imagine she, like, scampered up, like, you know how they have, like, the thing in back of the table? The thing? Oh, my God.
The tabernacle?
Yeah. I'm going straight to hell.
Well, she's going first.
We're going to go together. Yeah, so she probably climbed up that thing, right? And then jumped off of that.
Yeah.
But if you miss the cross, I mean, it's just all marble.
Actually, Jesus saved her then. So even in his apparent demise, he saved her.
That's the power of Christ right there.
There you go. Jesus saves.
Jesus saves.
How do you like that?
Hashtag Jesus saves.
I just turned this into a positive story.
Wow. We just became a Christian podcast.
Yeah. There you go.
You didn't even realize.
I didn't even realize it. Anyway, back to the story because she's naked and she's toppling this statue of Jesus. Which, by the way, boy, I never realized this though. How much do you think one of those costs?
Oh, it's got to be expensive. Several $1,000s. I'm gonna say $10,000.
Well, you're not off. Police say that the Jesus statue costs $12,000, and she will have to be responsible for replacing it. So I hope she enjoyed her little joyride here, because
that was an expensive one.
That's an expensive destruction item.
And that's just that item, because they're probably also going to make her pay for all the other stuff she destroyed.
Right.
The pamphlets, the candles, the books, whatever other statuettes and wall hangings they had. Yikes.
Yep. For those that are curious, we have her mugshot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
She just looks out of it.
Oh, yeah.
She
Those eyes are oh man, she's gone. She's gone. That is a soulless look right there.
She's not a Christian.
Wow.
Boy, a picture is worth 1,000 words sometimes.
She really does look like. I wish it's hard to put into words, but just imagine somebody who would. She looks exactly how you're imagining.
Yes. If you are not watching this on the video feed, you're missing out.
Her eyes are like puffy, but also sunken.
Yeah.
And they're dead.
Yeah.
They're just dead. And she just has a very long face.
So, boy, man, there you go. The perks of making sure you're watching the video podcast.
There you go. You got to get all that glorious perp visual.
That is a I don't even know where to begin.
What was it? A picture says 1,000 words, or whatever the saying is.
Yeah,
something like that.
Picture says 5 ways to go to hell. I don't know.
Pretty sure ripping Jesus down off the cross is probably a surefire way to get there.
So she's gonna be charged with $12,000. She's gonna have to be charged with the cost of replacing that $12,000 statue of Jesus right on the main wall. She's going to be charged with felony criminal mischief. And, she'll also be liable for all the other damage that she caused.
Damn. And we don't know why she did it, do we? She just felt like causing a ruckus.
So I don't know how they do things in North Dakota, but during this whole time, they did not do any sort of test for alcohol or drugs. They only said that, quote, she appeared under the influence of some mind-controlling substance. That is it.
If this story were in Florida,
they did not. You know what? She tore down Jesus. We're going to assume she's got something wrong with her.
Right, exactly.
We don't need to go any further.
Like, you know what? We're just going to... there's just something in you.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know what it is, but there's something in you.
We don't know what it is.
And that's all that matters.
It could be booze. It could be drugs. It could be, the devil. But, we're just going to let things play out and just enjoy your time in the prison there.
Hey there, demons. It's me, your boy. I'm standing near your hole, and it's very dark.
Yeah, so just let her be.
Yeah,
let her sleep it off. Whatever it is, let her sleep it off.
If you're walking into a church completely naked and try to rip Jesus down off the wall, I'm going to assume that you're under the influence of something.
Yeah.
But in Florida, they have to double check because it could just be a regular person.
Right.
But you never know.
Here in North Dakota,
No. In North Dakota, they just assume.
Something.
Yeah,
it's just something. And just sleep it off.
I'm standing near your hole, and it's very dark.
Yes. So, and there you go. That's what I have for you this week in the non-fortune cookie odd news.
Lovely.
What a story. To wrap up this episode of the Crispy Noodle podcast. And yeah, that'll officially end this episode. But you know what? I think we had a good return to form.
Absolutely.
We were away for a week. But we're back in action and ready to go.
A lot of good stories. We both came back to the Eagles being in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the best way we ever came back from a break.
Yeah.
Here on the podcast, so that is good. And a good reminder to let you know to tune into next week's episode because we'll have all of our Super Bowl predictions and analysis. And of course, the prop bet report that I like to whip up together. So
absolutely,
I know Mike loves it.
I love the prop bets.
Yeah, so make sure to tune in next week. A good way to figure out how to tune in next week is what I'm about to say right here. Make sure you're subscribed, whether it's on YouTube. You just hit the subscribe button so you get the episode notification sent to your YouTube account. Whether it's on Facebook Watch. You can watch us on Facebook right there from the comfort of Facebook. Or on Spotify, where you can either watch us on the video feed on Spotify, or you can put Spotify in the background and listen to us as a traditional audio podcast. And you can take us on the go with Android Auto or Apple CarPlay that way as well. So there you go. All the ways that you can listen to next week's episode, which will have my infamous prop bet report.
Definitely have to check that out. Very excited. We're going to have a lot of Super Bowl coverage. So many ways to check out the Crispy Noodle podcast. But if you want to get in touch with us individually to share your sports, entertainment, or odd news stories, you can find us on Twitter. I'm at Mikey Costanzo, MikeyCostanzo.
And I'm at Rich Liebig, RichLiebig. Find us on Twitter. Let us know what's happening. Let us know how you're going to do Super Bowl. Let us know your opinions on the Super Bowl. Yep. The Eagles are in it. We can't be any happier than this.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, so make sure you're staying in touch with us as we get you right ready for the Super Bowl coming up. But for right now, that'll wrap up this episode. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Later. Bye-bye, all you fine peoples. Good night.
Some of us have great stories, pretty stories that take place at lakes with boats and friends and noodle salad. A lot of people, that's their story. Good times, noodle salad.